What's going on, everyone? Giannis. He is arguably the best player on the planet currently. In my opinion, I think he is the best player in the league right now. And he is a guy that is extremely loyal. He has been extremely loyal to the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's really rewarded him, right? Many people wanted to see him leave Milwaukee and go to greener pastures. And he ended up staying with the team, signing an extended contract, and was rewarded with an NBA championship. He's won an MVP and has just dominated the league and is such a fun, fascinating player to watch. And he still has so much more room to grow. He has improved year in and year out. I mean, he even had a 50-point closeout game to win the championship, finals MVP, all of that stuff. He is literally at the top of the top when it comes to players in this league. But he is also a guy of history. He is a guy that has studied the greats and is obsessed with basketball. And it's what's gotten him to the position that he is in. He even has a movie that's coming out, all of that stuff. He is really just living life right now. And he is so humble, so kind, and just a great person in general, based on everything we've seen with him, right? Well, he was at a Fox kickoff this Sunday and did an interview. And in that interview, he relayed that he would like to play for the Chicago Bulls one day. Now, this thing is what is just caused an absolute frenzy because Chicago fans and everything like that are, yay, Giannis is coming to Chicago, this, that, and the other. But let's cool our jets a little bit. So first off, this is what he said. He said, I think anyone asked that question who plays basketball, if he said no, he'd be a liar. It's a team that's won multiple championships, a team with one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player to ever play this game. It's a no-brainer. Everybody would love to play for Chicago. Down the line, you never know. You never know how life brings it. Maybe I play for Chicago, Giannis said, but right now, I am committed to Milwaukee. And now people are going off and saying, "Oh, he wants to play for Chicago. You know, one day later on down the line, he's opened the door for Chicago." Now, here's the thing: this is a Chicago Fox station, 32, in which he said this. You know, so of course he's not going to say, "Yeah, no, I don't ever want to come to Chicago. Chicago sucks." Like he's never going to say something like that. And I'm not saying that that's what he thinks or that he's completely lying. Would he want to play for Chicago? Possibly. It's a historic franchise, right? It's a franchise that's rooted in just the legacy that centers around Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is an icon. In many people's eyes, he's the greatest player to ever play the game. Even Giannis himself relayed that in this. But when you get asked a question like, hey, would you ever come to Chicago and play in Chicago? Or, would you ever consider playing in Chicago? What are you supposed to say? You're doing an interview for Chicago. You're supposed to say, no, never going to happen. That, and the other. No, he's a guy that, again, he's humble, he's kind, he wants people to like him, he's, a friendly guy. He's going to relay that. It's not, if he was in LA and they asked him, would you ever come to the Lakers? I'm sure he would have said the same answer. The Lakers are a historic franchise. They've won a bunch of championships. They currently have arguably the best player on the planet in LeBron James. If he was asked about New York, he probably would have said the same thing about New York. It's the mecca of basketball. It's the greatest, basketball franchise in the NBA, this, that, and the other. What is he supposed to say? He's not going to say anything negative. He's not going to make his image look bad because he knows, just like everybody, that they're just going to run with the reports. And he just said the right thing. He said, hey, look, Chicago has a great history of basketball. They have arguably the greatest player ever. Who wouldn't want to come and play in Chicago? Which is true. I mean, many players would probably want to play in Chicago in their careers, in their life. It is a place that, they just got DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball. They've really turned that team and that franchise around rather quickly. Whether they're contenders or not, that's yet to be seen. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that any player would go to Chicago. And even Giannis, he's saying, who knows what the future holds? He is a great example and proof of that, right? He's a guy that came from literally nothing and was able to grind his way and then one day got to the NBA, kid wet behind the ears, and eventually became the greatest player in the league currently. It's just like he knows better than anybody. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. What if one day he's on the decline or something, or Milwaukee just wants to start fresh or something? You never know. You never know, as great as he is. Now, I think he's a guy that is very likely going to be a lifer when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't see him leaving Milwaukee. You see that a lot, especially with the foreign players. They are a lot more loyal than some of the American players, right? They're more dedicated to the team. And again, everybody told him, leave Milwaukee. You're not going to win. You're not going to have success in Milwaukee. Go to another team. Go to a Chicago. Go to an LA. Go to whatever. They'll build a team around you and you'll win championships for your legacy. And he said, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to give them a chance. And people killed him for it. And they won the championship. So it worked out. So I think he's loyal. I think he's dedicated. I think he wants to build something great and something special here in Milwaukee. And for the foreseeable future, they're still contenders. I mean, you could make the argument they could have won back-to-back last year if Middleton didn't get hurt, right? I mean, they forced a Game 7 against the Boston Celtics without Middleton. If Middleton was there, it's very likely that they would have at least won that Game 7 or maybe even wrapped it up before then. Maybe it doesn't even get to a Game 7. So they will be in the contention and in the conversation next year. In my opinion, they are still the best team in the Eastern Conference next year, as currently constructed, unless, Kevin Durant goes to another team. If Kevin Durant goes to the Boston Celtics or something, maybe that changes the conversation. If he goes to Philly, maybe that changes the conversation. But until something like that happens, I really think the Milwaukee Bucks, if healthy, are the best team in the Eastern Conference. And they might be the best team in the entire league. And so I just think that he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. He knows that people are going to run and just take this stuff and it's going to spread like wildfire. But what would you rather have if you were a player or somebody in the public eye and the public figure? Would you rather them run with the story that is, oh, Giannis doesn't like Chicago. He thinks Chicago's trash. He thinks, the Bulls suck. Whatever. Would you rather have that story or would you rather have, oh, Giannis opened the door for possibly one day going to Chicago and now you got an entire fan base that is loving you and just, you clamoring over you, and every time they see you, they're going to be given the, come to Chicago chant, and they're going to be begging for you to go to the Bulls for the next 10 years, right? It's how it is. Like, any player would do and say that in the right scenario, right? Any player would say, hey, I love this place. I mean, we've seen guys like LeBron. We've seen many other big name stars talk up other organizations and other franchises, especially when they're in their city or they're, doing an interview for one of their radio stations or whatever. Like, that's all part of it. They're not going to sit there and trash the team or just say like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. Hate to break it to you. And some people might think like, well, why didn't he just say, hey, I'm a Milwaukee Buck. That, I'm focused on Milwaukee. I'm focused on this now. And all, because it's not the answer people want to hear. It's not what's going to get people excited. It's not going to drive the conversation and the narrative. It's not going to do what you want it to do. You want people to talk and have, those fun conversations rather than you say something like, hey, I'm in Milwaukee. I'm focused on Milwaukee. Milwaukee's my team. And then, a bunch of people twist that as like, he doesn't like Chicago, the Bulls would love to have him, but he doesn't want Chicago. And it's like, he didn't say that. It's not what he said. But it's always better to just say the right thing that the people want to hear especially when you're, you're a celebrity, you're an athlete, things like that. If you can stop the storm, you just stop the storm, right? You just say, yeah, I love Chicago. This is a historic franchise. This place is great. They had Michael Jordan. I looked up to Michael Jordan. I loved Michael Jordan. Greatest player of all time. He's up there. This place couldn't be any better. So accommodating, so great. Like, I love him. Like, that's what you do. Like, if you're a comedian on tour, you're not trashing the city you're in. If you're a celebrity that's doing something, whatever, you're not going to go to a city and talk down about them. You're not going to go to a city and say, oh yeah, no, this place sucks. No, you just don't do that. Because you want to keep people happy. You want to keep that public image. You want people buying your jersey, buying your shoes, buying your, business adventures, this, that, and the other. That's how you keep it going. You get people excited. You get people talking. Now Chicago Bulls fans for the next 5 years are going to be talking about how Giannis is coming to the Bulls and, oh, just wait. When he's a free agent, he's going to sign with Chicago and he's going to have an entire fan base with their hopes up. And in reality, they're going to be very disappointed when he stays with Milwaukee for the next several years. But that's something you worry about later. Worry about it then. In 5 years when people are like, oh, he's going to Chicago, he said it 5 years ago, like you just go, okay, sure. Good luck to you. And look, is it out of the realm of possibility? No, nothing is. Especially in today's NBA, the way that players are so mobile, move around, they go from team to team, stuff like that. Again, these European players and these, foreign players, they're a lot more loyal than arguably many people think that they should be, but that's just what they are. That they've, like, especially a guy like Giannis, who came from little squalor that had nothing, and the Milwaukee Bucks were the team that took a chance on him. He's looking at it as like, I don't care. Like, even if I'm never one of the greatest ever, I have 15 brothers and a family and all that. Like, I have all this stuff that I need to take care of, because he's like one of 11 siblings or something like that. Like, he's looking at it as like, I have an entire small village that I need to take care of, and the Milwaukee Bucks put me in the position to do that. That's why he's going to be loyal to them. That's why he's going to ride this out forever. I'm sure he cares about his legacy. I'm sure he wants to be talked amongst the greats. I'm sure he wants all of the accolades and accomplishments and this, that, and the other. But in reality, he just wants to be in a position to play basketball, because it's far greater than the circumstances he was in otherwise. So anything's better than that. And so now he's in a position to where he can provide for his family, he can provide for his loved ones. He's going to be loyal through and through. Now, things always change. You never know. Like, if Milwaukee is a terrible team in the next 3 years and it's just basically Giannis and nothing else, and no one wants to go to Milwaukee and no one wants to play, maybe he says, hey, it's time for me to move on. I won a championship. I loved it here. You guys were great. Maybe he goes to Chicago, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Again, this was just the PC answer. This was just the, hey, everyone, yeah, it's great. I agree. Yeah, it would be cool to do that. Again, what do you say to a question like that? But of course, people are going to take it. They're going to run with it. News articles are going to talk about it and talk about how Giannis wants to play in Chicago and this, that, and the other. But in reality, it's not what it is. He's dedicated to Milwaukee. He's in Milwaukee. He's not leaving Milwaukee anytime soon. He's not going to demand a trade or request a trade. They're arguably the best team in the entire NBA. Like, they're fine. They're in a good place. Giannis isn't going anywhere. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that this is just, Giannis he's giving you the answer. He doesn't want the bad press or the bad publicity. What is he supposed to say in that situation? No, you guys suck. Like, no, he's gonna say what he needs to say, because it's all part of the show. It's all part of like the tour, the media tour, and just, being good with reporters and stuff, and, keeping a city excited and happy. It's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's what he's doing here. That's all this is. There's, it's nothing to see here. But, do you think otherwise? Do you think that this is really something that, he's coming one day, whatever. However you feel about it, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.